It began as a flicker, a barely noticeable blip buried in the data. Something cold, quiet, and unbelievably fast, slicing through our solar system in a way nothing ever had before. Telescopes across the globe, from Hawaii to South Africa, spotted it first. Then came the confirmation from NASA, an unidentified object, not charted on any map, behaving unlike anything bound by gravity's usual rules. And the most unsettling part? It wasn't from around here, it came from beyond. At first glance, scientists thought it was just another space rock. But that assumption didn't last long. Within hours, unusual patterns began to emerge. Its speed was too extreme, its path too perfect, its shine far too bright. And when astronomers mapped its route, the results chilled them. It was heading directly toward the center of our solar system. For generations, we've viewed space as a quiet, indifferent void. But now, as this uninvited traveler cuts through our cosmic neighborhood, the James Webb Space Telescope has turned its gaze on it, and what it's revealing may be more than we're ready to understand. Because now, a new question is being whispered across observatories. What if this isn't just passing through? What if it's watching us? Between June 25th and 29th, this mysterious object, now named 3I Atlas, was detected by ATLAS, a high-speed sky survey built to flag hazardous space bodies. But this wasn't just another asteroid. This one was different. Clocking in at over 152,000 miles per hour, its velocity shattered expectations. Its orbit followed no known gravitational paths. And when simulations ran its trajectory backward, the results were even more baffling. Its origin didn't trace back to the Oort cloud or anywhere near Neptune. It came from interstellar space, possibly even the heart of our galaxy. This wasn't a leftover fragment from our solar system's formation. This was a cosmic wanderer, drifting through the darkness for tens of thousands of years, unseen. Until now. But perhaps the biggest mystery isn't where it came from. It's why now. Before 2017, we had never recorded a single interstellar object. Now, in less than a decade, we've seen 3, each stranger than the last. When word of 3I Atlas broke, scientists raced to point the world's most powerful observatory, the James Webb Space Telescope, toward it. Webb, designed to peer billions of years into the past, was now focused on something local, something unsettling. The light bouncing off the object didn't match its size. It should have been huge, but measurements showed something smaller. The surface wasn't acting like rock or ice, it was behaving more like metal, highly reflective, cold, maybe even hollow. Enter Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, who once proposed that the 2017 object Oumuamua might not be natural. He raised the alarm again, calling for scientists to check for non-gravitational acceleration, tiny motions that couldn't be explained by the sun's pull alone. If those deviations are real, it means this object isn't just drifting, it's steering. And if it's steering, we're not observing a rock, we're observing a choice. To grasp the weight of this moment, we need to look at what came before. In 2017, Oumuamua stunned the world. It had a cigar-shaped body, no comet tail, and an unexplained boost in speed after swinging past the sun, despite showing no signs of propulsion. Then came Borisov in 2019. Clearly a comet, yes, but moving faster and behaving more erratically than any ever recorded. Both left us with more questions than answers. But 3I Atlas changes the game. It merges the strange glow of Oumuamua with the bizarre path of Borisov. It doesn't act like a rock, and it doesn't quite behave like a comet either. It may be something entirely new, or something very, very old. Now, astronomers are beginning to ask a far more unsettling question. What if these aren't random events at all? What if they're part of a larger pattern, a slow, methodical sequence of contact disguised as coincidence? For centuries the skies were quiet. Then, suddenly, they weren't. And the only thing that changed was us. Tucked between the charts, simulations and scientific briefings is a question no major institution dares to ask out loud. What if this thing isn't natural? When the facts don't add up, when the brightness is too strong, the path too smooth, the motion too controlled? There's only one possibility left, one that makes even seasoned scientists uncomfortable. Artificial origin. Not aliens in spaceships. Not little green men, but probes, autonomous machines, artificial scouts, launched eons ago from somewhere far beyond our reach. Harvard's Avi Loeb has long argued we may have missed a message in 2017 when Oumuamua passed us by. Now, with the arrival of 3I Atlas, he believes we may be getting a second chance. Everything about this object, its surface, its strange velocity, the timing of its approach, points not to randomness, but to deliberate design. The James Webb Space Telescope continues to monitor it closely, tracking its spin, heat signature, and flight path. But maybe the biggest mystery isn't what this object is. It's who might have sent it. In a universe that's 13.8 billion years old, the scariest discovery wouldn't be that we're alone. It would be realizing that we've never been alone. And only now are we finally advanced enough to notice. As more data streamed in from Webb and observatories around the world, something even more disturbing came to light. The object was accelerating, subtly but consistently, and not because of solar radiation. There were no signs of gas jets or icy outbursts, no tail, no visible emissions, yet its path was shifting with uncanny precision. It wasn't drifting, it was maneuvering. Webb's infrared scans picked up a steady, focused heat signature, not the chaotic glow of a melting comet, but a stable, symmetrical pattern. It mirrored the strange behavior seen with Oumuamua, which also exhibited unexplained propulsion, sparking concern behind closed doors. But this time, the anomaly wasn't ignored. It was tracked, and now it's feared, because when something moves without a force, it implies intention. Control. And for the first time, scientists began whispering what couldn't yet be made public. We're not just observing something out there. Something might be observing us. With the James Webb Telescope locked on target, NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center ran a full spectral scan, expecting the usual cosmic ingredients, rock, ice, or metallic dust. What they found shattered expectations. The material didn't match any known asteroid or comet. Instead, it showed signs of advanced carbon structures, the kind you'd expect from engineered materials, not natural ones. In plain English, it looked built. Its surface reflected more light than expected. Its spin showed strange symmetry, rare in random space debris. And one side absorbed more heat than the other, as if designed that way. It didn't just challenge our understanding of physics, it challenged who might be behind the physics. Even more puzzling were the electromagnetic fluctuations, subtle but consistent, hinting at something hidden beneath the surface. Internal complexity, possible chambers, layered densities. This wasn't just a space rock, and if it's not a rock, then what is it? That single question began echoing across the globe, from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory to the European Southern Observatory to quiet rooms inside defense agencies. Because if this object wasn't shaped by nature, then someone or something built it. At first, the public was treated to a rare glimpse of open scientific curiosity. Trajectory maps, brightness charts, and thermal data flowed freely from NASA, ESA, and India's ISRO. But then, something shifted. Suddenly, updates stopped. Web pages went dark, requests for telescope logs, and James Webb's raw data were denied, labeled as under internal review. Freedom of information requests came back heavily blacked out. And then, the whispers began. Scientists pulled from research teams without warning. Specialists quietly reassigned. Access to live feeds restricted without explanation. The excitement that once radiated from observatories began to turn into silence. And behind that silence was a growing suspicion. They found something. Not just something new, something paradigm-breaking. And now decisions were being made, not by scientists, but by people who deal in containment, strategy, and control. Because when a discovery crosses a certain threshold, When it threatens to reshape not just science but security, belief and power, it no longer lives in labs or observatories. It becomes a geopolitical asset. And in space, control isn't just about who sends the signal, it's also about who silences it. As this mysterious object continues its steady path through our solar system, a realization is beginning to take root in scientific circles. This is no longer just an anomaly, it's a turning point. A moment that forces us to question everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos. Because if it is artificial, it must have come from a civilization far older and far more capable than our own. One that can build something to drift silently through space for thousands of years, without decay, without need. A civilization that may have never intended to communicate in the ways we expect, because the mere existence of the object is message enough. And if it isn't artificial, then we've stumbled upon a natural object so rare, so advanced, it mimics intelligence, so precisely it fools even our best instruments. Either way, the conclusion remains the same. Our understanding of the universe is incomplete. And the James Webb telescope just exposed how much we don't know. We're no longer gazing into an empty void. The void, it seems, may have been watching us all along. And maybe, just maybe, we've finally become interesting enough to watch. But amid all the rising tension, another idea has begun to ripple quietly through back channels and off-the-record calls between researchers. What if this wasn't a coincidence? What if this object's timing, its arrival, its orientation, its detectability wasn't random at all? What if this was never about chance discovery? What if it was planned? As if the increasing power of our telescopes, the specific angle of Webb's instruments, the maturity of our data models were all variables in a cosmic equation. And only now, in this exact moment of our technological awakening, does the equation solve. Not because we were lucky, but because we were meant to. This isn't just a relic drifting through space. It might be a test, a quiet probe waiting in the dark, triggered only when a civilization becomes advanced enough to detect it, as if to say, "You found us. Now let's see what you do." Let that sink in. For billions of years, the universe gave us silence. No transmissions, no beacons, no signs of company. And yet now, just as artificial intelligence takes shape, just as quantum research redefines our reality, just as we begin reaching beyond Mars, something arrives, quiet, deliberate, mysterious enough to pull James Webb off its mission to study the edges of time, and redirect it to this. Could it be that we're no longer the ones doing the observing? That maybe we are now the experiment? Our calculations, our questions, our silence, even our fear, all part of the data being quietly collected. Because maybe the real shock of this discovery isn't what we found, but realizing that we were being watched all along. The James Webb Space Telescope was crafted to peer across billions of light years, to catch glimpses of galaxies being born and the faint echoes of the Big Bang. But what it discovered wasn't ancient, it wasn't distant, it was here, now and possibly watching back. Not some faraway object at the edge of the universe, but something gliding silently through our very own solar system, too calculated to be coincidence, too quiet to be natural noise, too perfect to ignore. We asked the universe for answers. Instead, it handed us a mirror, a silent enigma reflecting more than infrared light, reflecting us, our fears, our curiosity, our fragile sense of importance. Are we truly alone? Or have we just been too primitive to notice that we were never alone to begin with? What James Webb uncovered isn't just a celestial object, it's the beginning of a new conversation, one that includes words we haven't learned yet, possibilities we haven't faced, truths we might not be ready to confront. Whether it's artificial or natural, engineered or accidental, this moment marks a shift, a crossing point in our awareness. Because now we're not just seeing stars, we're seeing our own limitations. And maybe, just maybe, we're seeing signs of someone else's understanding. This wasn't a distress signal, it wasn't a message, it was a test pattern. And the question is no longer, will we find life out there? But rather, has it already found us? If this stirred something in you, if it made you question what's really out there or who might be on the other side of the lens, then don't scroll away. Subscribe to this channel because we follow the signals others overlook. Turn on notifications because the next anomaly may not be so quiet. Share this with someone who still believes we're alone. And drop a comment below. Do you believe 3i Atlas is just another space rock? Or is it something more?